Hi, I'm Stephanie Panay, and today we'll be discussing justice according to A Course in Miracles. And our discussion will include a reference to Mary Shelley's classic Gothic tale of horror, Frankenstein. Now, you might think Frankenstein refers to the actual creature, the monster that walks around kind of loping about, but that is not Frankenstein. That is Frankenstein's creature. Dr. Frankenstein is the person who created the monster and then abandons the monster in horror at basically the monster's appearance, to be honest. When we think of justice, we generally think of something that's owed to us or that is owed to somebody else, and that thing could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. It could be that we feel punishment is owed somebody, or that a reward is owed somebody, that there's something due, we're due a right, could be an object, could be care. It's only just that parents care for children, if you like, or that the government uses tax dollars wisely in care of the population. Justice is all about equity, getting what's owed to you, if you like, and people getting what's coming to them if they've been bad or what have you. That's how the world generally sees justice. Now, in Frankenstein, the creature who is abandoned by his creator pretty much from the get-go, Dr. Frankenstein runs from his laboratory in horror at what he's created and ends up getting sick out on the streets and ends up at a friend's house where he stays for a long time to recuperate. In the meantime, his poor creature, who is newborn to the world, and we find out later from the creature's own recounting of his story, that he was scared. He woke up feeling, where am I? What am I here for? What's going on? And his maker had just left him. And so here he was feeling bewildered, yet he was also full of a feeling of love and wonder towards the world. Once he stepped out into it, he was amazed by the sky, the nature. And so he began life with a real sense of vulnerability and a great capacity to love. And you'll find out later too that he's actually really intelligent, articulate, that he has gifts, uh, although his appearance is scary. And that's what his maker ran away from. Now, because of his appearance, people end up turning away from him in horror. Dogs bark at him in the streets. He ends up absolutely isolated, living on his own wits out in the countryside or in the towns, and he is so lonely. Alienation is a really big theme in Frankenstein. And ultimately, throughout the story, there's lots of twists and turns, but let's get to the point where he confronts his maker, where he confronts Dr. Frankenstein, and he says to him, why did you make me? Why did you create me if you're just leaving me in this misery? I am all alone, and you really should treat me like your creature. You're meant to look after me. And Dr. Frankenstein's like, wants none of it, wants none of the responsibility that comes with being the creator. And the monster says, please make me a companion. So at least I won't be alone, and I will leave you alone. I will go off into the countryside with my companion, and at least I'll have somebody to be with. Otherwise, what on earth did you put me here for? I am miserable. Anyway, the doctor eventually capitulates, says, oh, all right, yeah, maybe I do owe you a duty of care. I should create a companion for you. So he does start to make one, but then becomes horrified at his next creation and kind of, rips it all up, destroys it. And that's the clincher for the monster. He's like, right, that's it. You will get your just desserts. And justice in this case will mean I will kill everybody you love. Sorry for the spoiler if you haven't read it. Go ahead and read it though. The dialogue between the monster and Dr. Frankenstein is really good. And yeah, I will exact my revenge, and that will be justice on you, my creator, for neglecting me. Now, there's a few elements to Frankenstein that can really relate to our personal experience and a lot of what the course talks about in terms of justice and in terms of holding grievances. The first is that the creature says, I was good until misery made me a fiend. So I started off in this world happy, wanting to love people and be benevolent, or I felt benevolent. I was benevolent until your neglect made me a fiend. So there is a line in the course where it says, behold me, brother, at your hand I die, or you could insert the word suffer, or attack, or whatever word you want to put at somebody because of what somebody else has done to us. That is why we act the way we do now. So the onus is all on the other person, the responsibility for how we behave. So then with this idea that Frankenstein's creature is the way he is going to attack and destroy because of the neglect, the creature then says, make me happy and I will become good again. So this is his version of justice, if you like, or one of them, is give to me what you should have given to me in the beginning, as in a companion, care. And if you do give that to me, then I'll be good. Then I will not betray you and kill all who you love. Now, the problem with this kind of idea of justice, if you just give to me what you should have given me to in the first place, everything will be sweet. I'll be good. I'll leave you alone. Everything will be sweet. Is that in the course's terms, we could say it makes the error real, because this type of so-called justice is saying, you did something that has really affected me badly, and look at all the miserable things I've done and how badly I've behaved, or whatever way. It could be badly towards others, it could be badly towards ourselves. Look at how I don't care about my own happiness or safety, or whatever it is, and it's all because of you. This version of so-called justice makes our past real, makes what somebody else did real, makes our miserable lot now real. It says, I am a victim of forces beyond my control, and you had the power to make me happy, but you didn't. So make me happy now, and all is forgiven. But by making the past real, we're also making the world real. We're making what happened to us real, and we won't be released from it. We won't be released from it, and neither will the other person who we hold responsible for neglecting us in some particular way. So asking for a particular right, an object, or whatever it is that we feel is rightly ours but has been neglected, will come with not much happiness, not much joy, and certainly no healing if we're trying to fulfill the needs of the past or make up for the past. It actually does the opposite. It makes the past more real to us. What we want to do instead is to have healing as our goal, healing for ourselves and for the other. Now, in this, I want to bring up the subject of psychological blind spots. Now, with Frankenstein, with the creature, he couldn't understand why his creator, why Dr. Frankenstein, did not care about him, did not help him out. Now, if this has ever happened to you in your life, chances are the person on the other end who doesn't seem to be able to see the situation for what it is, or the unfairness that you see, is experiencing a psychological blind spot, which means their past trauma has created a blind spot for particular issues. They won't see them for what they are. Now, in Dr. Frankenstein's case, he had an immense driving ambition to create this creature, to create life itself out of bits and bobs of the dead. He was compulsive. It consumed his days, his nights, his health declined. So whenever that's going on, you know that there's a wound behind that, because no healthy person at peace has that kind of drive that just really is absolutely all-consuming to the detriment of their health and their relationships. Now, he talks about how his childhood was wonderful, uh, glorious, all that kind of thing. So it doesn't seem that anything happened to create this drive in him, or we don't know. But, there is that old thing of whenever somebody really just goes on and on about how wonderful their childhood is, it's kind of a red flag that something's amiss there. Who knows? But his driving ambition really came to a halt when this creature stood up, and hey, the creature did not look impressive. At the end of the day, that was what really messed with the doctor's head. He was like, oh my God, this creature doesn't look impressive at all. Sure, he's strong. Sure, he's big, but he doesn't, he's not going to win any, beauty pageant. And that is what really disturbed the doctor most. So behind the doctor's drive is an ambition to impress, which means that on some level he must feel unworthy. So then when the creature is then in the situation of asking for what is due to him in terms of care, that's like a way of standing up for his own worth. But if it's done from a place of, I deserve this, give it to me, you've been horrible, and it's me against you, and I'm just going to get what I should have got in the beginning, that creature's self-worth will not be healed, or their sense of unworthiness will not be healed, and neither will the doctor's. So if the creature then presents their request in the frame, in their mind, of it's going to heal both of them, let healing be the goal of my request. I just see that I need this thing, I would like this thing, a companion, whatever it was that he was asking from the doctor. And if he felt from talking to the Holy Spirit, if you can imagine, the creature having a chat to his right mind, saying, I want to heal this pain that I have towards my Creator. I want to heal this pain associated with abandonment and neglect. And if he was moved to be like, you know what, you need to have a chat and present your Creator with your issue, what you want and how you feel. Now, if you do this with healing in mind for both of you, then healing can happen regardless of what happens in form. But you have to come from this from a place that healing is your goal, not restitution, not reimbursement, not making up for the past. Healing is your goal. And then the Course also tells us that minds are joined. So the doctor, Frankenstein, needn't approach it from this position. You only need one person to approach an interaction from this position, because minds are joined. And so on a mind level, the offer that the creature would be giving Frankenstein is, how about we both heal our unworthy self-concept? How about we both let go of the past? And then that is how you can heal intergenerational trauma, a trauma that's passed down from one person to the other, that manifests in blind spots, where you cannot see how you're actually treating someone or reenacting that trauma. You can't see it. So you can't do anything about it if you can't see it. Someone might point it out to you, but you still like, what are you talking about? I can't see it. So the Course also tells us in its discussion of time and healing that when we heal an issue in the present, it's like that issue is erased throughout our past. And because minds are joined and we're never healed alone, it will then also, if the other person accepts the healing for themselves, erase throughout their past too. So their issues with an authority figure or whoever will be healed and erased, and so on and so on. Because the effect is gone in the now means the cause is undone all the way throughout time. So in this healing version of justice, we're not focusing on an idea of sin or an idea of wrongs in the past. And we're not coming from such a needy place when we are asking for what we think we need. What we think we need is therefore just providing an opportunity to interact with this person and heal. What we're asking for on the level of form is just providing the classroom for the healing. And it will be a lot less intense, a lot less mental gymnastics going on around it. Will I, won't I, how much, what, no. It will be a lot clearer, a lot softer, gentler, and just a lot more pleasant. So I hope this has helped you in some way, thinking about justice and, whether you feel there might be a right or a thing or whatever owing to you or to somebody else. Have healing as the goal, and the rest will take care of itself really nicely. Thanks again, and I hope to see you for more reflections on A Course in Miracles.